What happened to you in school that became a widespread rumor years later? I was sitting in the principal's office with no way to leave, all while my 7-year-old sister was walking home alone to our pissed stepfather. Just 60 minutes earlier, I had been doodling in math class when Finn beside me asked if I wanted to play Call of Duty over the weekend. I figured why not, and wrote my gamer tag. That's when Annie, the girl sitting across from me, went absolutely pale. She bolted to the bathroom where we could all hear her throwing up. When she came back, her knees were shaking so bad she could barely walk. She stood over my desk and whispered, "You're Sketchy Fox 362?" And I said, "Yeah." I asked if she wanted to play sometime, but she just stared at me like she was afraid I'd call her. Then in a panic, packed her things and literally ran out the door. An hour later, I got called to Principal Mark's office where he was waiting with Vice Principal Colby and Mrs. Beck, the counselor. They had printed screenshots covering the entire desk. Mark's face was dark red. "We have evidence of criminal harassment, death threats, and stalking." I did a double take, and they sarcastically pointed for me to look at the photos. That's when I saw the printed Discord messages from a user named SketchyFox362, saying, "I know where you live, Vicky. You'll regret ignoring me. I'll end you. Dated over 6 months." "That's not me," I said immediately. Someone else has that username. But Colby slammed his hand on the desk. "Annie identified you. You admitted it in class." I tried explaining that Xbox gamer tags aren't unique. Thousands of people could be SketchyFox362, but that cut me off. "These messages include details about our school, our staff, her schedule. You're telling me that's coincidence?" I'd never even talked to Annie before today. Literally never. But Mark pulled up worse screenshots. "I'll wait for you after school. Your parents can't protect you. I know which bus you take." That's when I looked at the watch and my stomach dropped. It was 2:30, and Lynn ended school at 3. If I'm not there, she walks home alone through the drug dealer street to our house where my stepfather would likely molest her if he caught her alone. "I need to pick up my sister," I said, but Mark blocked the door. "You're not going anywhere until police arrive." Police? For something I didn't do? But Colby was already on the phone. "We have a credible threat situation." I explained Lynn's only 7. She can't walk home alone. Our stepfather does things to her when I'm not there. But Beck said, "Should have come, prepared with better emergencies." Of course that's the card you play. I was getting desperate. "Check my Xbox account. I've had this gamer tag since 2018, before Annie even moved here." But Mark said, "That proves nothing. You've been planning this." They showed more screenshots with escalating violence. "I dream about hurting you. Nobody will hear you scream." And I noticed the messages called her Vicky and Annie at different times, which made no sense, but Mark said, "She changed her name trying to escape you. Transferred schools, but you found her." I kept looking at the clock. 2:45 now. Lynn would be getting her backpack ready, looking for me at pickup. "Discord has number tags," I shouted. "Mine is SketchyFox362 number 4729. Check what number the stalker has." But Beck laughed. "Multiple accounts, classic predator behavior." I was shaking now because it was 3 o'clock and Lynn would be walking out, waiting for me. When I didn't show, she'd start walking alone. "Please, one phone call. Let me get someone to pick up Lynn." But Colby said, "Criminals don't get privileges." Mark pulled up more evidence. "The IP addresses match our school network during your free periods." But I screamed, 200 kids have free period then. They weren't listening anymore, just congratulating themselves on catching me. 3:15 now. Lynn would be at the corner where the dealers stood. They'd whistle at her. She'd walk faster, scared. "She's 7. I was crying now. "Check the Discord tags. Different numbers mean different accounts." But Mark said, "Stop manipulating us with fake tears." Beck showed more messages mentioning Pennsylvania, where Annie supposedly moved from, but I'd never left this state ever. 3:30. Lynn would be unlocking our door, calling out to see if I was home. Stepfather would hear her. "I'll confess to whatever you want," I begged. "Just call someone for Lynn." But Mark smiled. "Confession under duress. Nice try." The door opened and 2 officers walked in. Mark immediately telling them about the cyberstalking, the death threats, how I'd admitted to being SketchyFox362. I looked at the clock. 3:45. Lynn would be in the house now with him, probably hiding in her closet, but he always found her when I wasn't there. "Different Discord tags," I screamed as they cuffed me. "Check the numbers. SketchyFox362 number 4729 versus whatever the stalker has." But they were already reading my rights while Beck told the officers how traumatized Annie was. They dragged me out as I kept screaming about Lynn, about Discord tags, about Annie being called Vicky in the same messages, nothing making sense. But nobody listened, and I knew my 7-year-old sister was currently suffering. The cops drove me past our house on the way to the station, all while I had just one thing on my mind. Full story on channel linked below.